What's up, everyone? We are getting quite the red Halloween today. Pretty red across the board. Bitcoin's down a bit. Found resistance near its all-time high, cooling down. We'll look at Bitcoin's chart. We also have PCE that was just released today, and we have some MicroStrategy stock news to talk about. Now, first off, I want to show you PCE. So the year-over-year number came in good. PCE basically came in as expected. You can see that is continuing to cool down, getting awful close to that Fed's 2% target. This is the Fed's preferred indicator of inflation. Well, why is the market going down? What is going on exactly? It could be due to the monthly prices rising 0.2% instead of seeing a drop monthly. It could also be that on Friday we're expecting a jobs report that is pretty lackluster, at least expected to be. And estimates are for a net gain of 117,000 jobs. However, that would be a sharp decline from 254,000 jobs reported for September. But the reason for this could be the distortions from workers on strike, the effects of hurricanes, as said here. But I think the market is anticipating a rough Friday, a rough report, and this could be the market kind of pricing that in. Or it could be something completely different that I have no idea about. The market does things sometimes for no reason as well. Now, how is this affecting the Fed's potential rate cut? Well, we're still looking at a 94% probability of a 25 basis point cut coming in early November on the Fed's meeting. A very, very small probability of keeping rates where they are at the current standard. Seems like PCE is supporting this Fed cut. It does look pretty much collectively expected that we are going to get that 25 basis point cut. We also have some other things I did want to bring up that are a bit concerning. Maybe this is why the market's dropping a bit today. But Microsoft, their revenue disappointed, their revenue guidance disappointed, so moving forwards. And also AMD reported pretty bad expected guidance for the fourth quarter as well. Watch out for after the close. We do have Apple and Amazon reporting after the bell. This could definitely give us an idea of what we're going to see on Friday. If things are pretty bad from Amazon and Apple, maybe we see another day of a sell-off. And also, before I move on from here, keep in mind, we have the election in a couple days. We have obviously the FOMC. There is going to be volatility. There are going to be some good days. There are going to be some red, rough days. That doesn't mean anything has changed necessarily. This is what the market does. After it moves up pretty nicely, there will be a big, day of a hard consolidation, a big red day. That is fine. I do want to talk about this MicroStrategy news, and then we'll look at Bitcoin on the chart. But basically, MicroStrategy is talking about a $42 billion plan. They're basically going to use $21 billion in equity or shares and $21 billion in fixed income securities so that they can add up to this $42 billion plan. Is this good? Is this bad? I think overall it is good. And by MicroStrategy utilizing shares, doing dilution to acquire more Bitcoin, in the end, that will pay off shareholders more than just not doing so, just keeping things as they are dilution-wise. MicroStrategy is onto something. As long as they can get away with continuing to do this, why not? Why not do this? It makes sense. Better than pulling out high interest rate debt. And I think overall this will be a positive for shareholders. But short term, we might see some pullback. We might see some drop, knowing that there's going to be dilution. There are going to be more shares of MicroStrategy out there because of this plan. But we will see this from the Bitcoin miners too. They want to increase that hash rate dramatically. They're probably going to dilute. The smartest ones will. The dumbest ones will take out high interest rate debt right now. The dumbest ones will sell all of their Bitcoin at a time like this when we're expecting the final phase of the rally, the best part of the rally in many cases. Now, what's happening with Bitcoin? Well, it got rejected off its all-time high. No big deal. It's probably on its way to test the last cycle high. And look at that channel I showed you guys. I don't know what happened to this line, but remember yesterday, this ascending channel, it is following this ascending channel. It might even come down and test, 67, 68,000. Come down, work its way towards these moving averages. It did get a little extended away. But we're still looking at our golden cross. We still have the moving averages pointing upwards. That is very bullish. Keep in mind that not that long ago, Bitcoin was literally 60,000 and it did a 21% run. There are going to be cooldowns. There are going to be little pullbacks. This is the type of stuff people got panicked out when you see a little cooldown and then people freak out like, oh no, it topped out. It's over, guys. No, it's not. Oh no, it topped out. It's over, guys. No, it's not. There are going to be drops. There are going to be run-ups along the way. Ignore the noise. Ignore the loudest people in the room. They're usually the most wrong. Follow Bitcoin's cycle. We did break out of this downtrend, and I do wholeheartedly believe this is the new trend until it gets invalidated. One thing to realize is look at this bearish divergence. I would definitely call that a bearish divergence. You've got the RSI topping out right here. Maybe we're due for a nice little cool down. See how the price rose dramatically, but the RSI basically topped, double topped. I mean, this one went slightly higher, but I would still call that a pretty big divergence. And maybe we're due to cool down a little bit. No big deal. A little bit of consolidation above the last cycle top. That's exactly what we wanted, and hopefully we can get just that. But anyways, guys, how are you feeling about Bitcoin today? Is it the end of the world? Do you hate days like this, or do you like them? Realize that we don't get nothing but up days. This is a bit of a reality check. Remember, bear markets will get crazy good green days. Bull markets will get some crazy red days. Follow the overall cycle. I think the one thing you need to learn about Bitcoin, the best thing you can research about it, hands down, is learning about the 4-year cycle. Learning about the halving. Learning about the max supply of Bitcoin. Learning that the vast majority of Bitcoin is already in circulation. We are fighting for the last few percent over the next roughly 100 years. These spot Bitcoin ETFs continue to gobble up Bitcoin. What happens when there's none left? What happens? This will happen soon. The price will rise dramatically until sellers are incentivized to sell, to supply the buyers with Bitcoin. At some point, the price will get too high that the buyers don't support it. And that is when the bear market begins, much higher in price from here. Keep in mind, these spot Bitcoin ETFs have billions and billions of dollars in inflows. In the next couple of days, they will reach 1 million Bitcoin. In a couple more months, they will probably reach 2 million Bitcoin. They will be at about 10% of all the Bitcoin that will ever exist. This is not going to stop. Imagine where they are 10 years from now. Do they have 40% of the Bitcoin? Is all of the Bitcoin slowly but surely going into the ETFs to then just get pretty much locked away for good for the most part? Of course, there will be sellers. But, people are looking at these ETFs as probably a multi-year thing. Some people are jumping in and out, sure. But there are a lot of people with money that are putting it in there and they want to park it for 5 years, 10 years. What happens when we see all the Bitcoin go in there? Over time, we will see the Bitcoin continue to get pushed into these funds, and there will be less and less and less on exchanges. There will be less and less and less available for us common folk to buy rather than buying from the spot Bitcoin ETFs. Remember, right now there's only 450 Bitcoin being put out there every day. A lot of days there is much more buying demand than for 450 Bitcoin. 450 Bitcoin added up price-wise is somewhere around 20-something million dollars. That is nothing. That is the daily supply of Bitcoin. As long as the market can absorb that, Bitcoin can maintain its price. If the market is buying more than that, Bitcoin will go up. If the market is buying less than 27 million of Bitcoin per day, we'll probably see a drop a little bit. But in the end, the halving, these are magical things. Next halving, the incoming supply will be cut in half. This is why Bitcoin's price has to rise to accommodate that. It is as simple as supply and demand. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Hopefully you have a happy Halloween. I almost said have a good weekend. It feels like a Friday kind of. But anyways, if I don't see you again, have a happy weekend as well and a happy Halloween. And I'll see you next time.